Hi, so I would like to quickly demonstrate how you can use the Blip browser software to create high quality Blip books in the Blurb bookwrite software. So the first thing to do is obviously to download the images and entries that you want to put into your book. So let's start with this, and I'm using the 1.2 version of the software. So I'm going to authenticate myself, and I'm not going to put my password. If you were doing this properly, you would probably want to get the high-res images, in which case you will need to provide your email and password. If you don't, obviously you'll get low-res images and they won't print as well, but yeah, that's your call. Okay, so you need to go to obviously the download section. I am going to take as an example the last, say, 30 days, or at least maybe all of April for Hazel H. Obviously this is not anything special in terms of private information. You can see this on the Blip website already. So I'm going to start at that entry and I'm going to finish at that entry. So that's the final entry. And what you want to do is to choose to not to combine them. So you want these things as single entities. You want images and texts primarily, and extra images. And you want to choose a download location, as I've showed previously. Separate out the images and the text. It just makes life easier. Text, okay. Doesn't really matter how you format them in terms of the file names. Date is easiest. They will all be sorted, hopefully. And you want to generate rich text format. You don't want to do PDF, just rich text format, as that's what the bookwrite software will accept. And then you start the download process. So this is relatively quick. And then once this is finished, let's just check these are all coming in. So you can see these barreling in. Once we've done that, I'll show you roughly where to get the bookwrite software from. You will need to register with the Blurb website to have access to that software. You can download it, it's simple downloads, it's nothing as complicated as downloading the Blip browser software itself, I promise you. So yes, do that. Hopefully that was successful. Let's have a quick look. So is there a .rtf directory? Yes, there is. Okay, so we've got all those files. So we can quit out of here. So the next thing is to go look for the Blurb software. So that you can get from, or the bookwrite software from Blurb. And bookwrite is the thing you need to use. Get it for free, so you'll need to probably, as I say, register. So you'll need to create a user account, etc. You download it to your PC or Mac or whatever, and you will get a program. I've got it already installed here. And what you'll eventually be able to create, this is the one I've got work in progress for Hazel H, is something like this. So each page I make up custom to give priority to the photograph, as it's a photograph website. It's a blip, not a text website. You can navigate through the pages. The most important thing is to, whenever you're going to produce a document that is going to be expensive to produce, is to check for errors. So I'd encourage you to preview your work using the viewer here and scroll through, particularly for alignment errors, making sure that maybe your titles are lined up, that these are adjusted so that they don't fall into a margin, all sorts of things like that. So these are the pages in progress here for Hazel H. And that's the current work in progress. I might add a video of what this looks like when it's printed, or for last year's, in a second. Anyway, so I'm going to close this one and show you how to create a new entry. So you want to have what have we got here? Let's have a look and see what format I'm currently using. It's going to be a, I I've forgotten this. I copy and paste. I think it's a standard landscape I use. So let's do a standard landscape. Standard landscape, that one. Okay. I always go for the cheapest. Yeah, if you do an entire year, you're looking at 365 pages. Hazel's often run to almost 400. The limit for the book size is 440 pages, and that starts to get expensive. I would encourage you, if you want to try this out first, try it out with a softback. That's cheaper. You can do maybe a 20 page trial for maybe holiday photos. I would start off simple and then build up to something more complicated. So this is going to be demo. Start a new project. Okay, so this is what you get as the kind of basic page. Now, I have a standard layout I use, which I'm happy to share. It's a template layout that looks very similar to the original Blip books that you used to get. So what you do, if you've got my template, is you will apply it by highlighting all the pages you want to apply it to. So that's a click to start, click to end, and apply those. I don't know whether you want to start at kind of a page 1. Some books don't start with everything on the first page. They kind of have a blank page and then text. Hazel H's books have an intro page. Anyway, so once you've got your layout, your style, your format, you want to import the photos. So I'm just going to go and find those photos I downloaded. So Blip photos, images, I want all of these. And I'm going to open that. So that's it. Now I'll place them myself. I'll show you how this is done. Right, so make sure you've got it by A to Z file name, because with the date entry, that ensures that they're in the right order. And then you can automatically place them. So what I do every time I do the next tranche is to just simply say auto-generate, and it will put the photos into these windows on each page. And that's very quick. Bang. So that's all of them done. They're all now being used. The important thing to note though, you'll get these little triangles that shows it's, if you look at the fix, low resolution. We're going to ignore that, or you can make the image smaller. But the other thing is that people don't always keep the same aspect ratio for their photographs. They're not all 6:4s. Hazel certainly crops hers to weird and wonderful sizes. So what I do is I start by doing this. I click once on the picture and this pops up this. I fit to frame. That then gives you its true shape, if you like. And I drag it using this from the center to line up with the margin. Drag that in so that it fits nicely. And then I'll scale it up and down to fit the area I've got. In this case, I'll have to scale it down to, there you are, the thing has disappeared. So that's basically saying that's a nice, clean, printable image. It won't be too fuzzy. The next thing you need to do is to get your text files in. And again, one thing to note is that Blurb have a limit on the number of text files you can bring in. It's 500, which means for an entire Blip year, you couldn't do both the day entries and the titles, which I handle separately. So I have to place the titles manually, but I drag and drop the days. So again, let me show you how to import these. You simply navigate to where you stored the texts and go into the RTF. And what you want is the text entries. So I'm going to select just a few here. Click, click. This is, I think, it's on Apple Mac. It's Command click. I think for Windows it might be Shift click. Anyway, I'm going to bring in that many. Actually, I need to start at the bottom because it's reverse. Yeah, okay. Tedious. It would be nice if there was a way of doing this quickly. Oh, we're almost there. Right. Import those. So that again brings those in, and again you want them to be sorted A to Z. They should be anyway. So the next process is to drag and drop those entries into here. Next page. If you do used, unused, you get only the ones that are left. Now, your work isn't finished here. If you want a decent document, I'll show you how to make sure these things are done properly. So let's hide that, go back to our first page. There are some issues in the conversion of the blip text to RTF, which I'll show you here. I'm working to fix this in a later release. It means there are extra lines in the RTF. You can, and let me do this again, click on the text, brings up this window. You can see the extra stuff. If I just simply delete it, you get something that looks now these micro things are again artifacts of the style guides I've used. Again, hopefully they'll go away with future releases, but this is the process is the one you'll use. So this is, I'm just going to do one more, get the page right. Yeah, for me, I'm going to have to use, I use this process anyway, so I want this fixed. But that's effectively the layout you want. If the text, I'll try and find an entry that goes over. I'll show that one in a second. The other thing to do also is, this was a horrible Arial font. I don't like that. So I am going to go into the edit, replace fonts, and I replace globally Arial with something called Garamond, and I replace them. It looks a whole lot nicer. It's a nicer font. Now you can stretch these paragraphs out again because this photo isn't particularly large here. I will use the full width of the page. You're paying for these pages, so use every centimetre that's available. If your photo was bigger, let's just undo some of these things. Control Z or Apple Z will undo things. Suppose you did have text that, or a photo that was worth stretching out, you would probably do something like that. And you can make the text flow into the next box. So if this is a long piece of text, you can click on that and get it to flow over into there. Again, this is looking a bit like a ransom note, but you get the point that you are trying to use when you do an entry, all of the space to maximize your presentation. So let's look at this page. This page, again, is one you want to lay out better. So let's click to get it to its best viewing. I'm going to ignore the fact that this is a poor scale. This I am going to just simply, do that too. And okay, and again, so flow the pages round, click. And again, that's not perfect, but you'll see in Hazel's Blip book how it's done properly, if you like. So once that's done, as I say, please review your stuff. You know, that's a pretty rubbish looking page, but hey ho. To get the titles in, you will need to copy and paste, unfortunately. As I say, if you're doing 365 days, you will need to copy and paste. If you're only doing a month, you can drag and drop. So we're looking for the titles this time. So title page, I'll just take a few, 3 of those ones, and open them with, in this case, LibreOffice. And what I'll do is I'm going to copy and paste those entries. So I should take the first. Copy and paste, so highlight, Control C or Apple C, flip back into the Blip book, go back to the first page, click in there, be very careful not to move that box, Control V or paste. Again, you'll need to go back in. I think it should be at 16 point in my diagrams or my documents. And again, you will do possibly replace fonts, replace Times Roman with, where's it gone? I've gone past it. With, I can't see it for looking. Oh, well, EB there. Okay, I mean, Garamond, there we are, right. So, yeah, it should be, yeah. Anyway, you get the point. It's, you're trying to lay your page out correctly. So that's the process. Then when you've finished, and again, you've done your preview, you do the upload. That will then upload it to Blip, or sorry, to Blurb. Again, when it's uploaded, you get the option to check it. Please check it before you print it. It can be an expensive mistake. So these books will cost you up to £100 if you've got a 400-page book. Do wait for the offers though, because they are up to 30% off, so they will save you money. Anyway, so that's an example. Let me show you again in more detail once you've seen that what a properly laid out version would look like. So now you understand what I'm working towards. You can see the text here. Let's unlock the page. That's in Garamond 16. This you can see now flows around the picture. The picture is a high-res picture. It's scaled to fit the picture. If I click on this, that makes marginal difference. You should always make it to fit the frame, and that's flowed around to there. Let me find another page that has extensive text. Again, here's an entry. One of the issues with bookwrite is that there is no automatic widow and orphan control. So by widow I mean you've got one line of a paragraph at the end of a section, and maybe it's children, the orphans, in the next paragraph. I don't like that, so I force it to be laid out this way. It may not be the best layout, but it's the one I've chosen. So again, this is composed of two text boxes, and a picture frame. And this is what it looks like when you've got the entries. So this only goes as far as, but that's what you're aiming for. And the Blip browser software will give you a head start on making this. The amount of effort you put into this is going to determine how high the quality is. It's not an easy process compared with the point and click Blip 365 book, but then they had templates that didn't really necessarily give your photograph its full, do it justice in a way that it can be done here, where you're doing a custom layout for each page. Anyway, I hope that is of help. I will probably add on a picture of what a finished book looks like at the end of this video. So I hope that helps. Thanks. So this is the sort of quality of book you're hoping to produce. So this is how it turns out if you've done all the work. You can put in your extras, and you get a several hundred-page book of blips. It is worth the effort. It is expensive, but if you want your Blip 365 book, this is the way to do it.